Hi, I'm Olly. I'd like to welcome you to this 3D tour of my studio here in Brixton, South London. Yeah, so I've been in these studios for 10 years now actually. It's 2011 I moved in with some friends after uni. I think throughout the time that I've been here there's been about 6 or 7 different people. There used to be 3 of us in here at one point and 2, and then in the last 3 years I've taken on the space myself, which has been a really good step forward for me. The size and the space in here gives me the ability to make much larger works. So yeah, it's been great. I've never really looked back from. Also, I only live about 10 minutes, so it's ideal for me to come here. I can stay here late, come early, nip in and out if I need to. So yeah, it's perfect for me right now. Yeah, one really good thing about this studio, which you can probably see from the scan, is the whole roof on this part is actually like a big large greenhouse roof. So you probably hear the rain hitting on it now, but it's amazing for the light. Even in the winter you get such good light in here, so I'm really fortunate for that. Only real downside is it can get incredibly hot in the summer. I think last year it got up to 40 degrees in here, so sometimes I have to have the door closed, working in with not many clothes on, but yeah, it's fine. It's a small sacrifice to pay for the amazing light that I get in here. So yeah, I love the studio, I love the roof, it's great. Tools are a really big part of my practice. Or woodwork in general, it's something I've been interested in for a really long time. When I was even young, just giving my dad a hand doing stuff around the house, or at school I was always into technology. Any excuse to get in the woodwork shop, I'd be there. I actually even used to work in set construction, building sets and making things, so I'm quite comfortable and familiar with them. And it's been really helpful for me to use those skills to sort of bring them into my practice. This is probably one of my most useful and used tools. It doesn't look like much necessarily, but this basically slides along a big ruler type rail, which gives me the ability to cut different rectangles for pieces, strips, all those little blocks that you see on my paintings. They're all cut with that. That thing, I've had it for about 6 or 7 years, but it was a massive game changer for me. Always have quite a few different pieces on at the same time. There's pieces in here that, like this for instance, that actually even started from a small paper sculpture that I made in lockdown as well. And I've been trying to turn that into a real sculpture. It's still not finished for nearly a year now. That's just been going on in the background whilst I've been doing other things. I've probably got about normally at least 4 or 5 different pieces on at a time. So there's quite a lot going on here at different times. But I kind of prefer working like that because there's always something to do, and it's not every day I can do exactly the same things, and sometimes I can do a few smaller bits and I'm a bit more rushed for time. Some of the longer bits I do have to focus on solely, but the other bits get forgotten about for a little bit. So yeah, it's just a constant flow of things going on in here, but never just one piece at a time. Yeah, the wood veneer pieces, they're something I'm really starting to get quite passionate and excited about. As I sort of touched on before, the paintings I've done for a long time, but I feel like I wanted to sort of change and do something a little bit different alongside doing those still. So I've been learning different techniques with wood veneers and marquetry, and really enjoying making that, which is how I've made some of these pieces here. But I feel like I've only just dipped my toe in the water with that, so it's something I'm really looking forward to just pushing further and trying to see what I can do with it, scaling things up, learning techniques better. It's really exciting and fun to be learning something new. Yeah, that piece over there, the cardboard one, that's actually a product of lockdown. At the time, I wasn't really coming in here at all in the first lockdown, so mainly working from home, and I was thinking, what can I do? Limited for space. So I actually started going just to the shops on my road, and this all here, these bits of cardboard that I was just taking from the shops, from the outside the fruit stands and things there, taking them home, and then cutting them up and just making these little pieces, little studies. At the beginning I'd kind of decided I was going to make this big frame, and actually figured out how many of these little studies I could fit in there, which was really helpful for me, because I knew, right, I can fit 104 of these little things in here, and that just gave me something to work towards through lockdown. Is, you know, every day I get up and just make and sort of just gradually create these studies to create a whole piece showing them. So, you know, that's a work I'm really like fond of, and it's the sort of thing that, you know, that would never have happened if I hadn't been stuck working from home. So, you know, it's one of the few good things that has come from 2020. Those sorts of paintings, like my what I call the drip paintings, is something I've been making for around 10 years now. Actually slightly longer than that. I was making them at uni still, but I've been refining them more and more ever since I started, and using mixed paints similar to these ones here. There's some from a different project, but I've just been working on getting the viscosity perfect so that when I drip the paint down the surface, it makes a way around these shapes, leaving a trail of the path where it's been on. And the initial ideas for these was sort of thought process in that they kind of visualise the way in which we move around urban spaces. I spend a lot of time sort of walking around thinking about movement and how we travel, and these paintings are kind of just a way of depicting that. And you know, watching the paint move around, it is sort of very much like you're imagining looking at a town overhead and seeing traffic and people and the movement. So they're initially made to try and sort of capture that in a visually interesting way. Yeah, so that painting over there, actually, that was actually made it's in 3 separate panels, and I originally made those to be part of this project where I created a large artwork for ITV. I'd finished the big artwork, it was all shaped in the ITV logo, but on the day I wanted to be able to have actual footage of the drips going around the surface of the painting, so I made those panels to take with me for the filming day. It was actually 2019, I've only just finished that off very recently, so it feels good to have finally done that. But yeah, that painting was actually part of the one that, you know, the drips that you see on the TV idents were filmed from that painting, which is quite a nice little story about it. Thank you for taking this time to go on this virtual tour of my studio. I hope you've enjoyed the experience. If you want to see any more of my works, feel free to check out my website, ollyfathers.com.